Kerry's 3 in a row that started in centenary year was a fantastic 3 in a row, particularly because they had dominated the late 70s, come into 82, they were going for 5 in a row against Offaly in 82, and they were beaten by that dramatic, heartbreaking goal by Seamus Darby last minute.
Nice shot, and a goal for Offaly!
But given what happened in 82 and then Cork beating them in Munster in 83, there was very much a sense of requiem about that Kerry team at the time. So to come back and win the next 3 All-Irelands was astonishing.
The focus of football and quality football at that time was between Dublin and Kerry. Really nobody else could come close. And you would be envious looking on and wondering what have these people got that they seem to be so special. They're just so far ahead of the posse. And the results kept telling us that. And the only time that they would have a serious contest was when they met each other, because the team from Ulster, the team from Connacht just didn't count at that time. At that time, that's the way it was, and they were ahead of the rest of us, and we could only but admire the skill, the pace, the power of their game. You know, it was just electric stuff. And I suppose if not for the Dubs at that time, Kerry would have totally dominated the scene. Maybe much like in the last decade, and maybe if we hadn't have been around, they might have had a similar time.
Kerry are the All-Ireland champions. Kerry have won the All-Ireland and won it on merit.
And I always think that to come back with Pat Spillane playing the football he did in those 3 years was astonishing, because Pat Spillane's career looked to be finished with a chronic knee injury.
Supplying it for the half-forwards for Pat Spillane. This is an important kick. That's why he's the great player that he is, and when Kerry needed it most.
That great Kerry team, I mean, some of them were just finishing at that stage. They were coming to the end of their career, but they were good. When we look back on it, people have said maybe, you know, it was bad to see the dominating, but they were good because other teams wanted to get there and other teams follow suit, especially the Dubs started to get their level of fitness up there.
Kerry ahead by 3 points, 2-11 for Kerry, 2-8 for Dublin. The closest call they've had for a long time. Timmy Dow just outside the 13-metre line. Back towards John Kennedy. Can he make absolutely sure? He certainly does. And the cup is going back to Kerry.
And then the northern teams started saying, well, look, if we want to compete with these, they started competing in the leagues with them, we want to compete in the championship, we've got to take it to the same level that they're at. And I think that's what happened. And so in the long run, we look back and they were actually good for the association.
There's a goal here for Portsquid.
Much to my disappointment, I suppose, that the final of those 3 in a row in 1986 was at Tyrone's expense. And unfortunately, at that time, probably Tyrone should have beaten them, being 6, 7 or 8 points up maybe into the second half, having put a penalty over the bar, which, if it had gone in, who knows what would have happened.
He's put it over the bar. The goal was there for the taking. Instead, he's content with the point.
But actually, Kerry turned that 7 or 8 point deficit into, I think, winning by 8 or 9 at the end. So it just showed you what they were about at that time. And this was a team coming to the end of its days, so to speak, which ultimately it proved it was, because they didn't get another All-Ireland for 11 years after that.
Jack O'Shea, who's remained on for the full 70 minutes.
I remember being in the crowd that day, and there was, you know, the feeling is when is it going to happen for Kerry?
Well, it was a bit of a hit-and-hope shot, but he scored.
The Ulster breakthrough hadn't happened at that time, and, you know, the result was inevitable in the end, where Kerry won pulling up.
So, a look of resignation on Art McRory's face. But let's give him credit for taking his team through to the very first All-Ireland final. It's a team I think we'll see back in Croke Park in finals again.